Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we are doing something that I'm totally uncomfortable with, but oddly pleased with how it came out. So we are building an eco cafe in Evergreen Harbor. Now, I did find this image on Google Images, and technically it was kind of like an exterior design for an eco house compared to a cafe specifically. But I was perusing Google Images and Pinterest for like 2 hours to try to find things to inspire a shape for an eco-themed build, and I was coming up very, very short. I was like really disappointed. I couldn't find anything that I liked or that I thought would translate well into The Sims until I found this, and I was like, you know what, I have to try something. Like, I can't just sit here and wait for the perfect image to come along, so I'm going to give this a shot. And it was a struggle. It really was. It was a struggle to do this, and I was so uncomfortable because I was thinking to myself, I mean, it's just 2 rectangles. How interesting is this even going to be? Like, how am I going to do this? People aren't going to like this. They're just some squares, and I was trying not to make something that looked like 2 shipping containers as well. Like, I was trying to go with more of a modern look to things, and I just felt as though if I made these 2 rectangles, even if I didn't use the kind of like metal, corrugated metal or whatever it's called, like shipping container wallpaper, I was just like, it's gonna look like a shipping container. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but I gave it a shot. I'm genuinely nervous about this one because I don't know if it's good. I really don't. I ended up liking it a lot. I thought it looked nice, but I wasn't sure about this one. So I hope that you guys like it. I'm proud of the outcome considering how uncomfortable I was with it. And I thought it was like really cool to use these awnings from the Desert Luxe kit. And I just went with the color scheme and used items and patterns and stuff that I just don't like. I was finally, and I mean finally, able to use the flooring, the wood flooring, not this one out here, but like the honeycomb looking one from Eco Lifestyle. I used that. I almost just covered my mouth because I'm like gasping at myself because I've never used it before. At least I don't think I've used it successfully. Like I've been really uncomfortable to use it because I'm not a huge fan, but it worked on the interior, and I loved finally being able to use these lights from Parenthood because I used them as pendants, because they are pendant lights, throughout the entire build, and I loved using them on the exterior. I thought it looked really cool. There's kind of like some industrial mixes to this build, I guess, certain elements, but I didn't really go hard with the industrial theme at all, because again, I was going with like eco-modern looking stuff. I don't know, I was just trying to get creative with the window placement. I tried to get creative with some wall decorations to kind of fill some spaces. And I used this door from Spa Day. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. This build completely threw me off because it's not my style, and I don't build like this at all. I'm like really jazzed about it, but I'm also really scared. Because it's so unusual for me, but I think it came out nice. I used a lot of like creams, dark woods, light woods, some more distressed woods here and there. And I got to use this cement wall. I think that came with the Desert Luxe pack as well. I really liked it. It's kind of reminiscent of one that we do have with Base Game, but it is slightly different, and that makes all the difference. It was really, really pretty. I was really excited about this build. So I'm just going to stop rambling about that and actually talk about the build itself more. So this is going to function as a cafe. So it is an eco cafe. There is the espresso machine bar thing, which was kind of difficult to use, to be honest, because the swatches of the espresso bar are very limited. They're very traditional looking. There aren't any modern looking ones. So I kind of had to make it work really just with the wood tones. And here I was going to try to make another seating area, but I ended up getting rid of this. I really didn't like how it ended up looking. It felt like it was cramped. It felt like I was forcing it, and I didn't like that it was at the same level as this side of the building either. I wasn't a huge fan of it at all. I kind of played around with things a little tiny bit to see if I could make it work, but I don't keep it because it didn't look that great, and I end up putting more seating on the back of the build anyway. So there's plenty. I think there's 6 or 7 tables outside, and then there are, well, technically it's 2 tables inside, but there's like 6 chairs because I kind of make them look like they're bar height. They are bar height. I don't make them look like bar anything, but they're bar height, and they're basically like bar long tables, like near the windows and against the walls and things like that. So I thought it was really pretty inside, but Here I was trying to get creative with the tool mod to make a different kind of awning, if you will, and it would have worked great if I had liked this entire part of the build that I was working on, but I wanted to keep it in here because I wanted you all to see the process. You know, a lot of times I will keep in all of my initial attempts at things, or I will try to keep in, I don't know, just things that I end up getting rid of, things that I changed, things that I was uncertain about, because I want you all to see the actual process. As long as I don't waste like 2 hours of your time, I feel like it's okay. So I usually keep it in because a lot of people think that builds just come together super easily and that, you know, we've got it all figured out, and we absolutely do not. So I did keep that outdoor seating area there while I worked on the interior and moved on to the main cafe area, but I do get rid of it. And now I'm trying to figure out how the heck I'm going to lay this out. Because it ended up being a lot smaller than I anticipated, especially with the size of the actual bar. And that's pretty much the only hardcore requirement for this to function as a cafe is the espresso bar, which of course includes the espresso machine and the grinder. But you have to have some like seating areas, you know, dining spaces, you have to have tables, you have to have a bathroom, so like a sink and a toilet as well. But this could function, if you didn't want it to be a cafe, you could even add a few different items and turn it into a restaurant. If you really wanted to do that, you could turn it into a generic lot. I don't know, you could do whatever you'd like with it because I think the requirements are fairly minimal. But here I was trying to pick out what I was going to use for the menu, because all the menus looked very traditional and not very modern and sleek, so I wasn't liking them. I tried to put some countertops back here to make it a little bit more visually appealing. I tried floating shelves. I tried a lot of different things, and then I just ended up resorting back to these menu boards from Discover University, and I chose 2 different swatches. I didn't want the one with like the sports pendants or any of the sports symbols. I wanted them to be pretty generic, but this one to the right I chose because there was at least a bottle of wine, like a glass of wine. I felt like this was more of an upscale, kind of modern, sleek, eco cafe. I mean, they don't offer wine, I guess, but I just thought it was more fitting. And that sign too was also from Get Together. I don't know why I like that sign so much, and it doesn't match the sign on the exterior of this build, but I thought it looked really nice in here. And now I'm trying to figure out the table situation because I realized I did not have the space that I wanted to place down a bunch of individual tables. So I decided to create a little bit of a bar. So there is this bar height table here from Dine Out with these really cool bar stools from the Desert Lux kit as well. And I added some plants and things like that. And I did a lot of that off camera too. I kind of feel bad about that, but all I did was add another table. It wasn't that extreme, I promise. I just added another table because it was very quick to decorate. It really did not take long. Even this space took, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And this ends up being a little platformed area where I put a microphone. So I was thinking there could be like slam poetry nights, or you could have little comedy gigs, you could have someone playing the guitar. It was basically just like a little performance space because I didn't know what else to do with this particular part of the build. I thought that more tables might be overkill considering there were already so many. So I thought this was kind of a nice compromise, and I did play test this and it worked perfectly fine. Though I have to admit, the only thing that was a little bit confusing to me was the fact that the, what am I trying to say? The barista, there we go. The barista was really struggling with taking orders. Like Sims were coming in and autonomously ordering things over and over and over and over again, and the barista just wasn't doing anything. So it wasn't so much an issue with functionality of this build, but I haven't updated my mods since the last patch, so could have just been a mod, could have been my fault. But that was the only thing that I recognized as being a little bit off, and that was likely just my game. But the mic works fine. I put the chair there just for show. Your Sims obviously will not do anything with the mic sitting down, and it's not in the way of the mic, so that's nice. And there's also a couple tables here, as well as this couch from the Desert Lux kit, which I'm using so much lately. I really like it. And I just used a few different wall decorations from Eco Lifestyle as well as Dream Home Decorator. And I used this same exact trick here with these wall decorations in the cafe as well. So you'll see that in screenshots. And then there's 2 bathroom stalls as well. It's actually very similar to the Japanese, what did I end up calling it? Like karaoke lounge and tea room or something. The bathrooms are different sizes, but it's just because the size of the actual like build or that rectangle was a little bit different. But yeah, there are 2 bathrooms here, so you'll have plenty of places for your Sims to to go. And yeah, I also added wall speakers to each space. Now I used I think it's called the Café wall speaker, and I think it's from Get Together. It's kind of interesting because it didn't automatically start playing music. Your Sims can actually control whether it's on or off and what genre is playing, which is interesting because we also have wall speakers that play only specific genres of music. I thought that was kind of odd, but interesting and helpful at the same time. I don't know. That was my thought, but I added them as well so you could pick whatever music you'd like. And then back here, I do add more tables. Like I mentioned, I think there's 3 more, and I just end up putting a few decorations on this back wall because it was looking very empty, like very, very empty. So playing around with those things was really fun. And then I also added, I think, like 4 trees in the surrounding area of this build because it needed some level of greenery considering it's an eco cafe. I just wasn't looking to make it this like eco jungle, if you will. I wasn't looking for there to be a ton of greenery all over the place, but I did toy around with some fencing to create these little like gardening boxes where the trees are going to be. But that is pretty much it for this build. I hope you all enjoyed this one. It was very much so out of my comfort zone, but you've been asking for more community lots, and I am trying my best to deliver when inspiration strikes. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Wish that I could stay in this moment forever, so I can hold you in my arms. I will carry you on my shoulders as long as I'm able. Scare the monsters under your